Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, home sellers planning to put their homes on the market often ask how to prepare. So, what are some important tips to drive up the sales price when they sell their Colorado Springs area home?
Well, Richard, I think at the end of the day, probably the most important factor before you go on the market is establishing a good fair market value price for the home. What I mean by that is pricing what I call realistically versus optimistically. Now, everybody wants the optimistic price, of course, but realistic is the way you actually get it sold. You want to position the home to be the best available home at the time. And most home sellers actually assume that they're selling the home as is with all its faults, but I can recommend some pretty easy improvements that will help the buyer be convinced to invest in purchasing your home. Some of the high ticket things that will come up, which I would definitely look into before you go on the market, would be the roof, the furnace, electrical, any structural issues, septic, sewer. Get that out of the way because it's going to come up and you really don't want it to be a real estate emergency while your home is on the market or while you're in inspection negotiations. A little bit of pre-planning can really go a long way for making the sale simple and worry-free. So number one, and a very inexpensive way to get your house ready for sale is to declutter. So the best way to do that, start with a picture, use your phone, take a picture of the room, do it horizontally, and then try to make that bigger on a computer or a laptop and let it speak back to you. I mean, most people get very comfortable with their surroundings and they don't think anything about it. But it hit home with me when we had those fires about, what was that, 13 years ago? I had to take pictures. Somebody suggested, hey, take pictures of your contents for if you have to make an insurance claim. So I did. And later I looked at it and went, oh, I didn't know our house was cluttered. I had no idea. So the pictures really show it to you. It's worth your time. And then at the end of the day, create a very simple system. Okay. You also should do it one room at a time. I'd start with that. I tend to, I have a little bit of ADD in me, so I tend to start one thing and not finish it and move on to the next thing. So I have to really train myself to focus. Okay, I'm just doing this room, or I'm just doing the kitchen cupboards at this point, which people don't really look at the content of the cupboards. They want to know if there's pull-out drawers in the kitchen. That's kind of a nice feature or benefit. But they don't necessarily care about what's in there. But I have seen buyers say, oh, all of these closets are so stuffed, it gives the impression there's not enough storage in the house. So it's a really good idea to purge before you go on the market with stuff you're not using, don't need. And then you would categorize it in 4 basic things. I would say throw stuff away, donate things, you could fix, amend, keep, maybe store, or put it away. So that gives you an idea. A lot of people rent a storage space and start getting ready for the sale, which is a really good idea. You want to focus on curb appeal, living room, kitchen, master bedroom, master bathroom. Those are the top spaces that a buyer cares about. So you want to make sure those look fabulous, and having the home neutral is your friend. I have seen a lot of dramatic paint in my career, and in general, you just want a nice, clean look. It doesn't necessarily have to be white. It doesn't have to be grayish. It could be anything, but you want it to be neutral so it looks nice, so the buyers can visualize themselves living in the space. Things like Bronco orange, red, there's a couple other colors that really jump out. Purple are a little bit too dramatic, and some buyers can't see that. Now, they can't see themselves living there. So let's say it's just one bedroom, not the master, because the master really has to be one of the key rooms that you have to focus on. But let's say it's a kid's bedroom that's painted pink. That's okay. Don't worry too much about that. Another thing that makes the house look very dated are things like borders. That was a thing back in the 80s and 90s, those strip borders that you see on walls, or faux paint. Now, some faux paint is beautiful, but in general, on camera, it just gets magnified and it really looks very dated. Flooring, you'll absolutely get every dollar out of replacing flooring. I had one lady that had a 1960 home, and the kitchen was original. The appliances were original, if you could believe it. 70-year-old appliances, they all worked. And it had kind of granny carpet over the top of this beautiful gleaming hardwood floor that had never been used. So I suggested that they go ahead, because her husband was very handy, go ahead and pull out that carpet, pull out the screws or whatever. And it was amazing. It sold for a bit more. I had one client that had the 80s time warp mauve pink carpet. That's not good, because any reds or pinks get magnified online. And so they did that, they neutralized it, and that one sold with a bidding more. Roofs, so I would recommend having a professional check that out. Sewer and septic sometimes can take a long time, so I would get ahead of those issues. And then we typically don't photograph the inside of closets or garages unless they're a showpiece. Like what I did with a client recently, he had this really cool 6-car garage shop, and it was full of cars and stuff and all that. And I had my virtual assistant empty it. It was amazing. It was just amazing how they could empty out that space and make it look perfectly empty. And it looked great. That's what you want to attract the buyer. Another very low cost update that you can do is update your light fixtures. Some light fixtures, either they're broken, they don't have matching light bulbs, they are dated, like the really shiny brassy gold kind of went out of style. So I would consider doing that, especially in the key rooms: living room, kitchen, master bathroom. I've seen people paint their oak stale. Oak, for some reason, is a little bit off trend, but I've seen some really nice tall quality oak cabinets. So there's nothing wrong with oak itself. It's just a color trend that's changing. So some people are painting those, which looks really, really nice. And a deep cleaning is critical, because if it's not clean, you will get a good return on your investment on taking care of just that one simple thing. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And what we're talking about are the 27 fix-up tips that you should think about that will give you a competitive selling edge in any market. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the ones that actually get you the most money for the effort. So give us a call, 719-301-3900. We also have a free report on our website that is titled The 27 Easy Fix-Up Tips. Go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on the green free reports button, and you can download that for free. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you are interested in selling your home, you want to call Barb. The number is 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about those 27 tips to drive up the sales price of your Colorado Springs home. What are some other home repairs that can yield a great return on investment?
Well, doing a pre-inspection will get you ahead of the sales process an awful lot. So we have something that includes a pre-inspection and a home warranty called our Certified Pre-Owned Home Program. And it really does help get you ahead of it. So it's the whole picture. It's pricing, pre-inspection, and getting the house ready for sale. Because at the end of the day, the buyers want to move in, drop their stuff, get on with their lives, and not do any work. And you just, unless the home is underpriced, well below similar sales, you're going to have buyers that are going to nitpick over broken stuff. So it's a really good idea to do that. Another thing that will help you is also to get rid of any unwanted furniture. You can donate it. There's some really good charitable causes. I just helped a client that had a lot of stuff. In fact, we marketed without inside pictures, which is kind of rare, but it was priced well enough to do that. It was a home that did not have updates, but it was priced correctly. And he got help getting ready for his move from some really cool resources that will come and pack for you if you can't do it. They'll have help repurpose, get rid of unwanted furniture, that kind of thing. So, not every home is marketed the full-on version. We even include our moving van. We have 2 moving vans that our clients just love using. And basically, for me, it's a giant billboard because it's wrapped with all my branding on it. But for the clients, they love to be able to have access to this van. Maybe they've got some pieces they want to donate to family. Maybe they want to donate to charity, and those charities won't come pick it up. It's a real handy thing. Or they want to get rid of some stuff. Another thing is curb appeal is very, very important. And this time of year, here we are walking into the summer after Memorial Day, and getting curb appeal right is absolutely critical, because buyers won't buy if you can't get them in the door with the first picture, right? That's the number one picture that makes them decide yay or nay whether or not they're even going to come look at the home. So this is a really important decision. And even if you're planning on selling in the winter, I would get the home photographed during the summer when everything's green and the flowers are out and all that. Most buyers are looking at the front as well as the backyard. What is the lifestyle? So that's why I do recommend doing that in the summer if you can. I would also take a look at things like concrete. Concrete actually breaks, right? It moves, it gets wet, it fractures. If it has a trip hazard, like a crack that could cause people to walk across and fall, I would recommend maybe having that fixed. I remember having a seller a few years back where their whole front sidewalk going up to the front porch was really very wonky. It had a lot of aspen trees, and they were lifting and moving the sidewalk. So they brought in a company that does what they call mud jacking, where they basically cut a hole in the concrete and pump concrete underneath, and then pull the pieces together that have fractured and reseal it. And it looked amazing, night and day. And that one also got a bidding more. And it's really, really important that you scrutinize the pictures that are put online, because buyers are making, that is your first showing. I think Zillow has this new phrase that says screen appeal is the new curb appeal, which is true. Buyers are deciding before they even waste their gas money to come look at your home, or not waste their gas money, based on the photos that they see online. So if the photos aren't good, it will actually repel buyers from going to see it. And still to this day, I'm seeing real estate agents that don't have any issue with taking their smartphone, taking some happy snaps, using their phone, and the lighting is bad. It just doesn't attract the buyer to want to come. And then they're wondering how come it's not selling. But photos can absolutely attract the buyer. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about photos that don't give the proper impression of what the home actually looks like. Buyers hate that too. They don't like being disappointed when they get there. So you want to make sure they're realistic, but they're also attracting the buyer. And if you want to find out how to do that, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Or if you want a free report, that 27 tips to sell your home fast and for the most money, go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Go up to the free reports tab. You'll find it there. When we come back, we'll be discussing why a cash offer may be better than a traditional offer. Plus, we'll be talking about Barb's hot new listings. Don't miss any of that.